Welcome to Primetime Live at the Duxbury Senior Center. I'm Joanne Moore. I'm the director of the Senior Center, and I'm thrilled to have you here today with us. And we are going to have a very special guest with us this morning talking about the SHINE program. Richard Quigley, thank you so much for being with us and being a volunteer at the Senior Center.
My pleasure indeed.
So the SHINE counselor, many people don't know what that is. Can you give us a little bit of information of what a SHINE counselor is?
A SHINE the SHINE program is a federally funded program that's administered through the states. And the states are set up on a regional basis, and our region is the southeast, and the headquarters is in Middleborough.
Excellent.
And its prime function is understanding bureaucracies and management and all those type of things through the federal government. We act as a guide to take people through the maze of Medicare and help to decide what's available, what the benefits are, and help them come to an informed decision because they're getting inundated with lots of advertising from all sorts of folks. And that's our prime function. We do connect up and overlap with the Mass Health program or Medicaid program, should they be, quotes, dual eligible in the state of Massachusetts for both Medicare and Mass Health.
And so this is a really intense job with, I would assume, a lot of training. Tell me a little bit about the training that you have before you become a SHINE counselor.
Well, they put us through a little bit of a screening first, and then the actual training is anywhere from a 6 to 8 week program, 2 to 3 days a week. And at the conclusion of that, we take a certification test, which we have to do each year thereafter to say recertified. And then, of course, the monthly meetings for updates of what's going on. And then as we're approaching this time of year, we have one additional meeting, which is the preliminary to the open enrollment time. Once a year, all the insurance carriers that offer the various Medicare programs are permitted to change their plans in all sorts of different ways, whether they be not just the premiums, but also how they structure their plans, what drugs they're going to include in them or not include, and so forth. And so we'll get that update. It's scheduled for us, it's October 12th, I believe. Okay. And of course, open enrollment starts on the 15th.
And so open enrollment happens one time a year. What's the window of opportunity for this open enrollment?
Open enrollment is for existing beneficiaries who are currently receiving their Medicare benefits and the insurance plans that are associated with them. It's one time a year where they are permitted to change their plans. So what they need at that time is the most current information to do a proper comparative of what they're paying now, what their coverage is now, versus what it will be in 2019. So during the open enrollment window, which is October 15th till December 7th, during that time frame, we can help guide through again for those existing Medicare beneficiaries of what's coming as far as 2019. And if they so desire, we can enroll them in new programs or change their programs that will take effect January 1 of 2019.
So it sounds like really every year someone should go through this process just to make sure if a medicine's changed or something has changed, or even maybe not changed with your health, but really more with the insurance, to make sure you're really on the right plan.
That's right. Things change. And as you were saying, not only their clinical profile as far as the client, the individual, but also the insurance profile. So those two variables are in play during the course of the year, and come this time of year for open enrollment, that's when we can take a snapshot of where those things are and what we can do to help them see where the mesh between the two of them would be best for them on the next year.
Okay. And so what is your schedule? When do you work? How does that all work?
Well, normally as a volunteer, we have no biases of any companies. As a volunteer, I'm at the Senior Center on Wednesdays right now throughout the year, and it's typically It's sort of 3/4 of a day, but it's every Wednesday. Right now we're having a little construction,
Yes.
which changes that schedule a little bit. But then during open enrollment, I rearranged my schedule so that I, in fact, add on extra time on Wednesday. And then this year, it'll be, I'll add on a half a day on Mondays and a half a day on Thursdays. Because as you were alluding to earlier, folks are becoming more aware of this open enrollment time and want to come in and take a look at what's going on for the next year.
And how long does a typical appointment last?
It'll vary a little bit. Since they're already in the programs, hopefully they've been enrolled into the Medicare.gov website, so we don't have to re-enter a whole listing of medications and so forth. But if they haven't been, then we'll put them in. So we do a very individualized profile review on what's the best plan for the drug plans, for instance. There's 22 drug plans that are offered, and in various ways, shapes, and forms. And so what we want to do is align their prescription drug profile with the 22 plans that are out there. Medicare.gov is a great tool. As I tell folks, it's the federal government working for you here. They do a great job, the program that they have with the software package. So we go through that. So if it's already in and they have their Medicare card with them,
and that sounds like they should bring it with them.
They ought to bring it. Make
Okay.
sure they bring that. And if they bring their current list of prescription drugs,
Okay. And you can get that at the pharmacy.
they can get it at the pharmacy, a number of different sourcing, but the pharmacy is a good place to do it. If they have all that together and they're already in the system, it takes about 20 minutes.
Oh.
If they're not in the system, or if they're missing and we have to go through the listing and name them and so forth, that could be up to 40, 45 minutes.
So should they bring vitamins, that kind of stuff, or if they do any herbal medicine, should that also be included or no?
No, the only things that would be covered under Medicare would be prescription drugs.
Okay, so that's good to know.
Anything over the counter, it really won't flow.
Okay, all right, that's good to know. So you said they should bring their...
Medicare card,
Yep,
list of meds.
2 things.
Yep.
Do they need any identification or anything like that besides the Medicare card?
No, that would be sufficient identification.
Okay.
And just a caution, just to, be on the alert. If they don't already know, Medicare is sending out new Medicare cards this year. It started in February. It'll go through until next February. And on their existing system, the Medicare card carries their Social Security number, which has been a security problem.
Right.
And so what they've done is they implemented a new plan where they've gotten rid of that, and they have a scrambled number, which is their new number. And so they're sending the new Medicare cards out to everyone. Massachusetts is now receiving them, has been for about the last 3 or 4 weeks. And so if they have that, that'll be great. If they don't, if they have their old card, that'll work too.
Okay, that's good to know. And then so do people need to come to see you more than once, or is it usually just a one-time visit?
Usually during the course of the year, it's a one-time visit, and once we get established, and unless they're having some type of difficulty during the course of the year, Medicare allows this open enrollment time one time a year where they can change plans. But sometimes things change during the course of the year. And if they're having difficulties, either their clinical issues are changed, or they're relocated, or something unusual has occurred, there are exceptions to that rule where you could change your plan to better meet your needs. There are a few exceptions to that, but for the most part, it's usually once a year.
Okay, so at least everyone needs to come see you once a year during this open enrollment period. They need to bring a couple key items with them. That's all important. And you did say if there's extenuating circumstances, they could see you outside that window. Yes. And things could be changed. So I'm not 65 yet. When should I first start thinking about this?
Right. For the new beneficiary coming up, there's a window of properly enrolling in Medicare. And it's a 7-month window. It's 3 months before your birth month, the birth month, and then 3 months afterwards. So a good time to start coming in to get the lay of the land or understanding your options and so forth, especially the transition from employer coverage to a Medicare situation, or the retirement plan that may be offered. Do a comparative between the retirement plan, should that one be available to them, and Medicare. I would suggest, at least 3, if not 4 months prior to the birth month. Then we can go through that and come up with a schedule of events of what they need to do. Some will want to go and talk to their spouse and discuss the various aspects of it. Some may want to go to Social Security and take care of other matters during the course of the year if they're approaching retirement benefit at 65 or 66, whenever. So there's a number of things that come into play. So in the best of situations, about 3 or 4 months prior to their birth month.
Now, how about if you're retiring at 62? Before you retire, it seems like that should be part of almost your retirement planning.
It should be part of it, and be concerned about your retirement for health benefits. Medicare, you're not eligible for Medicare until you're 65, unless you have a disability that has been basically approved by Medicare, accepted by Medicare with input from your doctor and so forth. Then you're allowed to receive Medicare benefits prior to 65.
Okay, there's lots to know out there. So what other things or suggestions would you share with our viewers, things they really need to know?
Well, as we touched on a few, is that the process of Medicare provides an enormous amount of benefits. And to understand those to a certain, within a certain round of understandability, but it's that portion that is not covered. So if you look at all your medical expense and clinical care and potentials, Medicare covers about 80%, roughly speaking. So that 20% open spot could be a pretty substantial burden.
Right.
And so I have to understand that. And not only are there the drug programs, there's also the hospital and the physician coverage too. So those things need to work together. And so we try to give them a roadmap of getting through that maze. And it's like me having an umbrella and taking them as a guide through that. That's the key element. And just as long as they appreciate that, there's a lot of variables, and something you hear from a neighbor or a family member of the Ajax company is the best thing since sliced bread, may not apply to them.
Right.
It should be individualized, their approach to the Medicare supplement programs. So not only are there supplement programs for the hospital and doctor, there are the what they call Medicare Advantage programs, which are separate and distinct, that combine drug programs as well as the other programs.
Excellent. So we want our viewers to know you are available Wednesdays all year long, and Monday, Wednesdays, Friday during this open enrollment period.
Monday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Oh, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'm sorry about that. And please take advantage of this really important resource available in the community. And thank you so much for your gift of time and knowledge and all you do for the community.
They should just call the front desk at the Senior Center.
So you do need to make an appointment and call the front desk at the Senior Center at 934-5774, extension 0. Thank you so much for watching this part of the show, and we'll be right back.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made her college years happen. Opening that education savings account when she was little. Spearheading a campus tour, and another, and another, and another, and another. Bam! Deciphering financial aid. She was like, what? But now she's like, you aced planning for college. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Welcome back to Primetime Live at the Duxbury Senior Center. It was great to get that information from Richard Quigley, our Shine Counselor. Definitely take advantage of that wonderful resource we have in the community. And I'm thrilled to have Brooke McDonough, a friendly, wonderful face at the Senior Center. She's our media coordinator, and she is going to share some information about this exciting new program that we're working with a company out of California, and it is called the Resilient Aging Lab, and we are doing a program called Transitioning with Resilience. So Brooke, thank you so much for being on the show and sharing this exciting program with our viewers.
Oh, thanks, Joanne. It is exciting. We're really pleased to be partnering with this company. This is a company, as you said, that's based in California. It's a bunch of baby boomers who have had these wonderful careers, and they have ended their careers, and they looked around and they said, what else can we do now? Like, they felt like they had so much more to give, and they decided what they wanted to do was reimagine aging. And they put this company together that helps people, older adults, transition during difficult periods of their life, or not really difficult, but just interesting periods of their life, one of them being retirement. What they like to say there is aging is inevitable, aging well is a skill, and they like to have people learn those skills and tools so that they can age well, which is something that we always talk about at the Senior Center, where we try to get people to live well, age well, and we see examples of it every day.
Right, and that's why when we first heard about this, thanks to one of our volunteers, we said, yeah, we would love to partner with this organization. Now tell me a little bit about this class. I see you have the flyer there. Maybe you could hold it up and show our viewers.
So they offer a couple of different programs, but this one is called Transitioning with Resilience, and we thought this one was the one that was most suited for our community. And it is geared towards people who are thinking about retiring or are newly retired and want to have purpose in their retirement. They want to take that time, that gift of time, as we say, and use it to expand on their horizons. They see it as a way to rebrand themselves. Sometimes people are finding out that they've always wanted to do something. They can follow a dream, and now they have time to do it.
It's really wonderful.
It's pretty cool.
So that program starts October 2nd at 7 o'clock, and how many weeks is the program?
It's 6 weeks, 6 different sessions. It's from 7 o'clock till 9 o'clock, so 2 hours. And it will be at the Duxbury Senior Center. And one of the really great things about this program is that it is workshop hands-on, face-to-face. You can go to the Resilient Age, resilientlab.com and download some of the materials, but to be in the class actually with other people who are going through the same thing, there's something really incredible and bonding about that. And so they'll take you through different exercises. There's 6 sessions, recognizing resilience in your life, exploring your values, navigating transitions, releasing your energy, creating your new story, and finding your focus.
What a rich, wonderful 6 weeks. I think, you know, in our lives, it doesn't matter really the age. We're always transitioning and transforming ourselves, and this could be beneficial almost to people of any age, but definitely if you're thinking in the next year or two of retiring, what a great way to be prepared.
So it's so true that you say that it could be for any age, but it's so great for this older population because of the word resilience. So resilience classically means being able to bounce back and being able to bounce back positively. And this age group, these older adults, they have been through things in their lives. They have those skills. They have resiliency, and they have the perspective to be able to look back on their lives and find out where they have needed those skills and how to capitalize from them. And so that's part of the exercise, is you map out your whole life and you see the peaks and valleys, and you see where things were good and why, and how you bounce back, and you dig down deep and you get to those places.
And really sometimes in life we learn more from what doesn't go well in our life, as you're saying, having to dig down deep versus what maybe went great.
Right.
So
and it's so important to have a plan. And we had done some informal focus groups at the Senior Center with people who are newly retired, who had high-level careers, and they were really looking forward to retirement, and they don't want to do that job anymore. They're done with that. That's ended, and they thought that it would be leisure time, and they had the golf clubs out, and they're finding that they're sort of walking around in circles at first. So it helps to start thinking about this early and think what the next stage will look like. And another thing that we see at the Senior Center is the whole idea of giving back and having a purpose. And we see the people who volunteer are the people that seem to have the most amount of energy, and giving back creates that kind of energy. And you discover through this process where the values and where your energy can come from.
Well, it's interesting, in the Aging Mastery program, they say most people watch up to 9 hours of TV a day.
Right,
and,
right.
And you think, even if you only used an hour to do something for yourself or someone else, what a difference the world would be.
Right, right.
And if this could help you get onto that path, how rewarding and exciting. And really, the gift of time is such a wonderful gift, and being a senior is such a wonderful time of your life, and you have to make the best of it.
It's so true, and it can be. And there was an example that we were talking about where a man who retired from a Fortune 500 company, so pretty large, stressful job, and after he was just sort of lost, and he went through these different stages and these practices and these they're called guided reflections, and it turns out he's always thought about working with children and always loved to work with children, and now he's substitute teaching at a bunch of different schools in lower income communities, and he's loving it, and he's happier than ever, and he has more energy than he's ever had. That's his second career. They're starting to think of it not as retirement years, but unretirement years. People are doing much more than they ever did.
I kind of like that.
Yeah.
So what makes this different from what other people have done?
Well, that's a good question, and that's what I was trying to get at earlier. The cool thing about this is the being in the classroom, coming to the workshops, meeting the other people who are in the same position, doing the face-to-face, doing all of the work. It's not like they're going to come and lecture you and give you a TED Talk on how to, retire, or what the best way to do it is. They're going to have you figure it out through these exercises, which is soul searching, and it's a lot of work, and it will be sometimes frustrating, and it will be sometimes very enlightening, but it's a great process to go through, and I think that's what sets it apart.
And I also think great way to meet new people.
Oh,
so if you've
right.
worked in Boston and you've done that long commute, and
Right.
since soccer practice you haven't been in the community and stuff like that, you'll probably connect with people who are about the same place you are, and what a great way to make friends.
You're so right about that, and that's another thing that we see at the Senior Center for people who have already made these connections. And I've heard people say that they have lived in Duxbury all of their lives but haven't felt part of the community until they retired and started volunteering at the Senior Center,
Right.
which is amazing that they now feel they have this community. And the other thing about the classroom aspect is the bonding that happens, the connections that people make with each other that become, we've seen it with other things, they become friends for the rest of their lives. Another really cool thing is people are signing up as couples. So
Great.
people are coming in and with their husbands or their wives or their partners and helping them through the transition, or doing it themselves.
Well, and even planning together.
Yes.
Like, what do we each want our life to look like separately, but
Right.
together? Like, and who knows? Like, sometimes you think you know everything about your spouse. And I remember I was out with my husband, and I told him I wanted to do a historical reenactment. He couldn't believe I wanted to do that. So yeah, they
Yeah,
really
you forgot
do.
to mention that.
Yeah, exactly. So
But you learn so much about your spouse. How fun is that? And it's a time where, like, you're learning so much about yourselves. You're reinventing yourselves. You're
Right.
rebranding yourselves. And so how exciting is that?
right, and to
Yeah.
share it with the person you love most.
Right.
How awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
So tell a little bit about the outcome measures. How do we know this is really...
So they do have a way to measure outcome, and they call it the 5 C's. The first is clarity. So they want you to be pretty clear on what your life is going to look like, what your expectations would be. Then confidence to take risks and make decisions, and that's important. Control, know what you can and cannot control, and be okay with that. Connections, social connections, just what we were talking about, which is so important. They say it's the #1 predictor of longevity, so how many social connections you have. It beats smoking, it beats quitting smoking,
Yeah.
social connections.
Yeah, loneliness kills. We
And
want
then
people
contentment is the 5th C, seeing the glass as half full, just being content with life. And if you feel those, you're in good shape.
And I think this class is a great way to do it. So who else has this organization been working with? They're out there getting this, they want to share this because it's so amazing.
Right. They have worked with the University of California in Berkeley and the National Aging Council and many others, senior centers across the country. And it was really interesting how they came to us through a volunteer who was working on our strategic plan. He went to college with one of the founders of this.
Right.
And so that's how we were connected through connections.
Exactly. And you know what a gift for us to be part of this pilot as they're first rolling it out and to be able to share it with the community.
Well, it was funny when he came and sort of explained what his company was all about, aging well, and aging is inevitable, aging well is a skill, because it's the things that we talk about every day at the senior center.
Right.
And some of the things that he was talking about, the people that make connections and plan and have purpose in their lives are the most vibrant. Yes, we know that. We see that. We preach it.
Right.
So it was a natural fit. So we're not even looking to roll this out with the people that are already connected to the senior center. We're going for the boomers out there who are thinking about the next step and wanting that. That's who this is for.
So even if this isn't for you, share it with someone else. If you go, you're thinking of retirement, they're having a great program at the senior center.
Oh, it's $30 and it's 6 Tuesdays. You have nothing to lose and I think a lot to gain.
Yes, and there's plenty of spots left, so we're hoping people will, sign up.
Bring a friend.
Bring a spouse, bring your next door neighbor.
Right.
Because it's something that will be a valuable thing for anyone who attends.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it.
Yes, and the nice thing is from, I think, 7 to 7:30, there's a little bit of social time. So if you haven't seen that person who you stood next to many a cold soccer games, you'll get to reconnect with them.
It's so true. And like anything else that we do at the senior center, it's going to have like an element of friendship and fun and probably snacks.
There will be snacks. I think dinner is provided. A light dinner is provided. So just once again to share that information, when does the program start?
It starts October 2nd. It runs on Tuesday evenings from 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock through November 6th
so
at the
now,
Senior Center.
What about if I was going to miss one session because maybe I'm traveling?
I'm glad you brought that up because a lot of people are asking about that. There'll be an opportunity to video conference for any of the sessions that you miss, so people can catch up.
So you gotta love technology. So even if you're going on vacation, you still have an opportunity to participate.
That's right.
And join us for this 6 weeks. It is gonna be a wonderful, life-changing journey.
That's right.
And thank you so much for being on the show today. This is such a new, exciting program, and one of our key strategic goals is to have excellence in programming, and this is another one brought forward by the programming team. So great job.
Awesome. Thank you, Joanne.
And thanks so much for being with us today, and we look forward to the next episode.